Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Well, it seems like China is really getting ahead of Russia in Cuban Missile Crisis Part 2. I didn't expect that one. That is, it seems like China might have a military base in Cuba before Russia. And guess what? United States is not bothered at all. It doesn't see that as a national threat or anything like that whatsoever. Why? Because they didn't see that on the Russian part when the Russians were complaining about NATO coming close to their territory. They said, don't worry, Russia. You shouldn't be worried about, our installations, military installations, like in Poland or Romania, missiles that can carry nuclear warheads. No. You should not have any reasons to complain and feel threatened. And the same thing, because the United States is a just country, I'm talking about the leaders, they didn't care. They would not care if China will bring their installations in Cuba. About 100 kilometers, 70 miles or something from the border of United States, of Florida. Of course they have a problem with that. Big problem. That tells you how fair they are. Why? If you shouldn't be concerned with me putting weapons next to your border, then why should I be concerned with you doing the same thing to me? Remember that biblical saying, the golden thing? What you don't like to be done unto you, don't do unto others. Or if you want to go to, I don't know, was Confucius? Was that something of the same kind? You know what I mean? So don't worry. Now let's see what happened, because China and Cuba are doing some hanky-panky ahead of Russia. And you're going to see in this article how fantastic the Chinese technology all of a sudden is. I mean, before, the Chinese technology is the Chinese military, like the Russian. But in this case, where they have to build awareness and be afraid, so we can get scared. Oh my, China has such a formidable, intelligent and technological ability. Oh my God. But until today, China was like, they don't even have microchips. We give them. They're like still plowing or something. That's how we're supposed to think. These guys change just like this. You're strong? Oh my God, you're strong, because we gotta get you scared, okay? If we want to do a hanky-panky, no, they're weak. Unbelievable. But that's the way it goes. So this article comes from the USA Today. Is China's latest provocation, it's a provocation, a new spy base in Cuba? Here's why that should concern USA, says Joshua Myers. Or Meyer, that's good enough. Or Josh. Just Josh. That's Josh. All right. This is from June 8, 2023. And let's see how these guys are just, upset a little bit. China has secretly persuaded cash-strapped Cuba to allow it to build an electronic eavesdropping and intelligence gathering facility on the island in exchange for billions in foreign aid. According to a new report in the Wall Street Journal, they must be telling the truth. Because after all, they're Wall Street Journal. If true, what are you talking about? If true, USA Today. If true, the new outpost would mark a significant escalation in Beijing's already aggressive geopolitical expansion efforts around the globe. Really? Who has military bases near China? Who crossed Pacific Ocean to South Korea? Taiwan? Taiwan maybe not, but Japan? Can you look over the map a little bit? Yeah, okay, exactly. So now they are just continuing escalation. Beijing doing the same thing you did, or at least according to a new report. They don't do it yet, and they're already significant escalation. So basically I can you, but you're not allowed to me. Okay? That's how it works. And this is the rule-based world order that the Americans are talking about. But I'm not talking about NATO. NATO is nothing. NATO is a little group of vassal states that jump when United States tell them to come over. They go like little dogs when you show up, and your dogs when you come from work and the dogs are coming around you. Just because you give them food. That's the only reason. Otherwise, I should probably use the cat analogy, because the dogs have a little bit more than the cats. The cats they like you, give them food, you, gone. The dog is not like that. But anyway, let's move on here. All right. It also would pose a potentially game-changing security threat to the United States, given that it is less than 100 miles from Florida. Analysts and former U.S. national security officials told USA Today, no shit. Why a China base in Cuba would be significant. But a U.S. in South Korea or in Japan is no significant. That's love. Cuba has been an intelligence gathering flashpoint for more than half a century, given its proximity to the U.S. So, including key military bases in the southern states. Back in 1962, President John F. Kennedy nearly went to war with the Soviet Union over its clandestine efforts to put nuclear-tipped missiles and other military equipment in the Caribbean island. And you already had nuclear warheads. They're called Jupiter rockets in Turkey and Italy. Remember that one? Alright, that's why that guy told Kennedy, take your shit out, otherwise you're gonna see. What you gonna do? Nothing. They got them out in 6 months, these guys. From Cuba. Not from Cuba, from Turkey. Because the other guys did not bring any nuclear weapon. No warhead of nuclear provenience or origin was in Cuba. Oh, because they didn't have time. Yeah, okay, all right. The journal, citing U.S. officials familiar with highly classified intelligence, we never know those names, said the two countries have reached an agreement in principle with Cuba and China, and that the recent development has sparked alarm within the Biden administration. Why, man? Why? Russia was not alarmed when NATO brought its rockets in Romania, in Poland, and then they wanted to bring in Ukraine. Why are you alarmed? And this is what? 100 miles from your border, not next to you. 100 miles. It's a long time and long distance. Which regards Beijing as its most significant economic and military rival. And let me say here, when they said something about how fantastic those things are. My God, I saw it somewhere where they say they have a technological, right here. Such an eavesdropping outpost would allow China's technologically sophisticated intelligence services, which are operated by its military, to vacuum up electronic communication at American military bases in the southeastern U.S. and to monitor U.S. ship traffic throughout the strategically important region, said Craig Singleton, okay, a former U.S. diplomat. So, all of a sudden, the enemy is bigger than he was yesterday. Why? Because we gotta get scared. And yeah, that's a escalation. But if you look at who came in whose neighborhood, did China come in your neighborhood, or you guys went into their neighborhood? Oh, you had to. Well, shouldn't they react? Well, this is their reaction. And you're gonna react, and they're gonna react, and you're gonna react, and you're gonna react. But the way these guys are looking at it, like, oh my God, you're escalating, major escalation, and all of a sudden, they're sophisticated. And they tell the Chinese are nothing without our technology. Now, which one is it? You're gonna make up your mind. So, my friends, this is it. It seems like this will happen. Let's put it this way. Either China or Russia or both will have military presence in Cuba sooner or later. Unless Cuba gets invaded and, democracy and freedom is brought to the Cuban people, which other people have to bring it to them because they're incapable of figuring it out like children. You know what I mean? That's how it sounds. Yeah, the sophisticated intelligence. Yes, the US should be concerned. Yes, of course it should be concerned. But don't the Russians have the same right to be concerned? What about the Chinese? Should they have the same right to be concerned? And if not, why not? Oh, I know why. Because US is the good and the other ones are the evil. Now everything makes sense. Tell me whatever you want under this kind of situation and worldview, everything makes sense. You know what I mean? Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.